The back-to-back national champions make their dog walk into Sanford Stadium, Georgia, trying to win its 23rd straight game tonight. And a sellout crowd is on hand to cheer for Brock Bowers and his mates, the nation's best tight end, making a strong case to become a Heisman Trophy candidate. So is Kentucky running back Ray Davis off a 280-yard performance last week against Florida. Tonight, a bigger challenge against the #1 team in the country in front of a raucous crowd of more than 92,000. Welcome, everyone, to ESPN Saturday College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. It's the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. Two 5-0 teams, number 20 Kentucky and number 1 Georgia. Georgia 5-0. The perception is perhaps this team isn't quite as good as the last two that won the national title. Kirby Smart, the coach, said usually after 5 games we know a lot about the team. He's still learning about his team. One thing he knows for sure, he has a tremendous tight end in Brock Bowers.
If the award for the Heisman Trophy is supposed to go to the most outstanding player in college football, he has to be on the short list. He's so good after the catch. Tremendous acceleration. He's obviously extremely sure-handed, and he has been tremendous for his young quarterback, Carson Beck. Last week, difficult spot, and Carson Beck looked in the direction of Brock Bowers, but my goodness, Carson Beck has grown so much over the first half of the season. He's really been the star of this offense outside of Brock Bowers because the run game has been remarkably inconsistent.
He's had back-to-back 300-yard passing games, brought them from behind last week for victory at Auburn. Georgia has won the last 13 head-to-head against the Wildcats. The opening kickoff on a gorgeous night between the hedges right after this.
Welcome to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
And this is the SEC on ESPN. From Sanford Stadium, Athens, Georgia, 69th consecutive sellout crowd on hand, hoping their team will make a championship drive for their 3rd straight national championship. Big test tonight against a very good Kentucky team. The Wildcats won the toss. Mark Stoops deferred, so Kentucky will kick off. Chance Poore teeing it up with a pretty good breeze at his back. Temperature in the low 60s. Just a perfect night for college football. Dillon Bell and Mekhi Muse are back deep for Georgia. Poore ordinarily kicks touchbacks, 29 touchbacks and 34 kickoffs this year for the 5th-year senior from Anderson, South Carolina. And we're underway. Muse will not try to run it out. Here's Molly McGrath.
Receivers Barryon Brown and Tavion Robinson both suffered lower body injuries in last week's game. They're both available, but Brown is not 100% healthy. We will not see him as a kick returner tonight, Sean.
Brown bothered by a hamstring. He had 10 catches against Georgia last year in Lexington. Beck comes out throwing. Dejon Edwards, some nifty maneuvering across the 30. Taken down by Keyshawn Silver in the middle of the front 3. Beck, a big man, 6'4", 220, waited 3 years to become the starting quarterback. Played behind Stetson Bennett. Has started all 5 this year, completing 72% of his passes, and as you saw at the outset, just under 300 yards per game. On the rollout, he's on target to Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. Kirby Smart told us yesterday, Greg, if Beck's had a problem, it's early in the games, perhaps a little too amped up. We saw last week he missed a wide open deep throw down the middle to Oscar Delp, but he has tended to settle in and play better as the games have gone along.
He's remarkably talented and has a great understanding of this offense, but you referenced it, maybe a little tight early. Obviously not a ton of experience as a starter, but really settles into the game.
Dillon Bell lined up in the backfield, ordinarily a wide receiver. Another short throw and good run after the catch by Dominic Lovett. for a 9-yard pickup for the transfer from Missouri.
This is how you get your quarterback into the game a little earlier. Just some short, high percentage completions, easy throws for Carson Beck to get him comfortable.
They're already out to their own 49. It's been a slow starting Georgia team. They've scored only 17 first quarter points in their first 5 games total. They've been dead even 17-17 in the first quarter. And then dominant thereafter. Dillon Bell yanked down for a loss. Octavius Oxendine, the defensive end, dropped that for a loss of 2.
A great job at the end of the line of scrimmage. You see Oxendine working against Xavier Truss, and Brock Bowers splits the 2 and makes the tackle for loss.
So here's 3rd down and 3. Bell remains the running back. He goes out into the flat. Beck has room to run for the first down. Decided not to slide and got hit by De'Aaron Jackson. But he got 7 on 3rd down, and Georgia continues.
Good job there by Carson Beck. Good coverage downfield from Kentucky. But they're not really worried about Carson Beck's legs. That's where this offense is very different from a year ago. Stetson Bennett was a threat to take off every single time, whereas Carson Beck really going to live in the pocket, more traditional, more prototypical. That time, clearly saw an opening and made him pay.
Daijun Edwards back in. And he breaks tackles, drives the pile. De'Aaron Jackson whiffed near the line of scrimmage. And as a result, it's a 7-yard gain. To use Kirby Smart's phrase, we do not have an elite running back. They're leaning heavily on Edwards, but that's not a strength of their team this year.
And they're very thin there. Of course, moved Dillon Bell into running back as well. Obviously, he's a receiver, so they've been very thin with some attrition and some injuries that have hit that room.
Play action pass. Beck was looking deep, throws it deep. Rosemy-Jacksaint has the touchdown. Well, that is not a slow start.
This is the way you do it. You see Kentucky selling out against the run. Zion Childress sprints towards the line of scrimmage on the play action fake. And as a result, Carson Beck's able to drop it right over the top to Rosemy-Jacksaint in stride. And what a start for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Wide open was Rosemy-Jacksaint. 7-0 Georgia. All season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Student section here in Athens fully engaged early. A quick score for Georgia. In contrast to their first 2 conference games, they trailed South Carolina here 14-3 at the half. Last week at Auburn, they were down 10-0 in the first quarter. Rallied to win both times. Jared Zirkle to kick off. 22 touchbacks in 36 kickoffs, kicking into a pretty good breeze, so he pooches it high in the air, and a fair catch made at the 31-yard line. Has Ray Davis, and Ray Davis picking up right where he left off last week. And he's not afraid to initiate the contact, as you saw at the end of the run when he collided with Javon Bullard at the edge. Davis, the leading rusher in the SEC, 119 yards per game. Deep throw, single coverage. Barrion Brown couldn't handle it. Their best cover corner, Kamari Lassiter, was running with him. Lassiter's been hampered by a foot sprain. So here's 3rd down and 2. Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator, said we have to be aggressive early. He thought 2 years ago when they played Georgia, he waited way too long to be aggressive and didn't give his offense its best chance. An early long bomb the 37-year-old who's come back to Kentucky after a season back with the Los Angeles Rams. Plenty of time for Leary. And the catch by Tavion Robinson with just enough for the first down. His 173rd career catch, 16th among active FBS players. Davis the other way. First down across midfield. Jordan Dingle was a lead blocker and then some, and it's a much improved offensive line this year. Davis again waits patiently. There is a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. Warren Brinson made the tackle. Part of the defensive line for Georgia. Kyle Olson is the referee leading this SEC crew.
Holding, offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Jagger Burton, the sophomore, making his 19th consecutive start. Hometown player for Mark Stoops out of Lexington, Kentucky. In his 11th year is Mark Stoops. Slowly built it up to the point now where they've played in 7 straight bowl games. He is the winningest coach in school history. Surpassed Bear Bryant's 60 wins. He's also the longest tenured coach in Kentucky football history. Kentucky, one of those rare teams that will huddle, and they play at the slowest pace in FBS football. They take that play clock down to the end just about every time. Again, plenty of time for Leary. Is a man wide open, and it's over the head of Tavion Robinson. And that's been the issue, the lack of accuracy as Leary gets used to a new offense and new teammates. He's just been off target.
And man, this is one you just absolutely have to hit. It's a great call by Liam Cohen. Kind of a smash concept with a corner route and someone in the flat holding that defender. He's got a guy wide open. Might be a touchdown if you drop it in the bucket.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 18 hotel brands, 1 loyalty program. Download the app. And in part by Cintas. Prepare your team for what's ahead. Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Greg, it looked like Kentucky had something going on that opening drive. The holding penalty was a killer.
Yeah, absolute killer. As you could see, the right guard, Jagger Burton, as he engages with Chambliss, he throws him to the ground and kind of grabs that jersey with his right hand. It was completely unnecessary. It was an attitude play for sure. And you know that Mark Stoops has emphasized that all game long, but really completely unnecessary and stalled the drive.
So Georgia leading 7-0, went easily down the field in 7 plays on their first possession. Carson Beck 4 for 4 and comes out firing again. Still perfect first down. Ra Thomas the catch for a 12-yard gain. The transfer from Mississippi State, where he was the Bulldogs leading receiver last year. On their last 3 possessions for 201 yards, 3 straight touchdown drives for the come from behind win. Faked it to Edwards, man wide open. It's Bowers taken down inside the 40 by Maxwell Hairston. They'll mark it at the 36.
Their big conversion.
Yeah, you can't lose sight of him. 25-yard gain. Brad White, the defensive coordinator for Kentucky, yesterday said he thinks Bowers is the best player in college football. And job 1 tonight is stopping him. They didn't that time. Here he comes again, a tight end screen. Good for 11 more. Mike Bobo. There's Brad White trying to stop Bowers. Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, constantly trying to come up with new ways to get the ball to Bowers.
Mike Bobo to design plays to get him the ball.
Bobo replaced Todd Monken, who left after last season to be the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Back wide open in the flat. Edwards dives down. Looked to be just a little bit short of the line to gain, but they might have given him the bounce. And Beck just cannot miss.
A lot of it, too, has to do with protection. I mean, if you look at just how much time he's had to operate, I mean, he's had a clean pocket. He's obviously getting the ball out really quickly, but this pass rush for Kentucky has to show up at some point or he'll pick you apart.
10 for 10 for 131. They're averaging more than 10 yards per play on their first 2 possessions. To the end zone, and it is incomplete. Ra-Ra Thomas went in the air, but couldn't get down in bounds.
Really close. A great job by Thomas high pointing it. But look at that left foot. Looks like that foot actually lands in bounds as he was going to the ground. Take a look at that left foot.
I agree.
Secures the catch. Looks like that left foot is down. Might want to take another look at this.
Yeah, there's the left foot. They are going to stop it.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under video review.
And that left foot's down first before the right foot comes down out of bounds. Well, they take a look at it. We'll step aside. Stan Murray is the replay official tonight.
After video review, it is a touchdown. The receiver had 1 foot in bounds and firm control of the ball.
So a touchdown, his first as a Georgia Bulldog, and celebration on the sideline. Ra-Ra Thomas and Mike Bobo making all the right calls. Thomas, one of those transfers they brought over to bolster the receiving core. Caught 44 last year for Mississippi State, had 7 touchdowns. And Lovett right next to him over from Missouri, where he was second team all SEC for the Tigers last year.
And this is just a tremendous throw as well. High, where only his receiver can go up and get it. Obviously, Thomas times his jump perfectly to high point it. And somehow, miraculously gets that left foot down in bounds. Just a tremendous effort. And I don't think you could ask for a better start from what's been a very slow starting Georgia football team.
For Kirby Smart, now in his 8th season as head coach at his alma mater, 86-15 is the record. His 85% winning percentage through 100 games, the best in the history of the Southeastern Conference among any coach, and they've had some of the great coaches of all time. Jared Zirkle kicks off, and it is mishandled by Anthony Brown Stevens, and he goes out of the back of the end zone, and it's a touchback.
Every way, accuracy, ball placement, timing, reading the defense, everything. Sean?
That was a textbook example of it. Wide open receiver and a big miss. 2nd and 7. Looking deep again. Another wide open receiver. Caught this time by Dane Key. And into Georgia territory again.
Back out, and a really nice throw there from Leary.
36-yard play from the 36 of Georgia. And another quality gain on first down. It's Barryon Brown, the sophomore from Nashville. There is a flag.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 62.
Wow.
15-yard penalty, down counts. It'll be second
No, it
down.
was Burton's holding penalty that hurt them on the first drive. And now another big penalty. You're not going to come in here and beat number 1 for the first time since 2007 if you keep doing this. It's Eli Cox at center. Burton's playing right guard. Davis driven back by Chaz Chambliss.
As you can see, just a great job at the front. They've run that play with some success already, but this time Chambliss plays it perfectly and makes the play behind the line of scrimmage.
Chambliss, a first-year starter, was an important backup the last couple of years. Junior from Carrollton, Georgia. 2.5 to go first quarter. And another penalty. Looked like it was the right tackle, Jeremy Flax.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Makes third down.
Let's go back to the personal foul. As you can see, guys on the ground, but watch Jagger Burton on the left side of your screen.
Wow.
He's going right down. The umpire's looking right at it. Just a completely ridiculous decision by him that has him staring at 3rd and 26.
Here comes pressure. Leary given time, and it's too high for Dane Key. A fired up Kamari Lassiter had the coverage for Georgia. Preseason first-team All-SEC cornerback. And Burton has really hurt his team here in the first quarter. That last one was just about as stupid as it gets.
Just absolutely can't make decisions like that. It's an emotional game. Obviously, you've been preached to all week. We got to match their physicality. You can't do it after the whistle. It's just completely uncalled for.
Wilson Berry, the 25-year-old from Australia, brother of Jordan Berry, who's punted in the NFL. Kai Muse let it bounce, and Kentucky's going to down it near the 1-yard line. Andrew Phillips in the right place. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 2. And Kirby Smart letting Muse have it. Rested and ready to go.
That game is going to be electric, man. Great quarterbacks. Obviously, Bo Nix with Oregon, Michael Penix, who I think if the Heisman was awarded at the end of September, he would probably have gotten my vote. He's been playing phenomenal.
Carson Beck has completed his first 11. Here's Dylan Bell around the corner and knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. He got 27. Trying to help get the running game going, primarily a wide receiver, but they're using him as a running back, and now there's a flag on that play. It looks like it'll be the first Georgia penalty.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense, number 73. Half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
Xavier Truss, who was the starting left guard at the beginning of the year. They lost Amarius Mims to a right ankle injury. He'll be out for several more weeks, so they moved Truss from left guard to right tackle. And Dylan Fairchild moved in at left guard.
And that's a big loss, obviously, with Mims being out, such an anchor there on the right side. But Truss, I think, has filled his big shoes admirably. The run game, for whatever reason, though, amongst the offensive line just has yet to really get going. Protection's been pretty good, but would love to see that group start to play with a little bit more in the run game to help out their young quarterback.
It's Edwards looking for some space. And he has the first down, taken down by De'Aric Jackson, the senior linebacker, back in his home state. He's from Dublin, Georgia. Longest consecutive completion streak to start a game in Georgia history. The record is 15 in a row to open a game. Edwards taken down at the 15-yard line. Trevin Wallison on the tackle. Gain of 6. They don't have to snap it again here in the first quarter unless they choose to. And Kirby Smart saying, we're not going to snap it again. .183 yards of offense in the opening quarter for Georgia. Beck 11 for 11 for 146 and 2 touchdowns. And a couple of costly penalties against Kentucky. The end of the first quarter, Georgia 14, Kentucky nothing. This is the SEC on ESPN from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. On a beautiful night, the temperature in the low 60s. Expect to get down in the mid 50s by the end of the game. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath. Our producer is Phil Dean and our director Scott Johnson. Outstanding first quarter on offense for Georgia. Carson Beck now 12 for 12. Short completion to Ra Thomas.
How frustrating are those penalties?
I mean, it's killing us. Our offense is, we're staying on track, and then we're getting our penalties. You can't do that. You can't come in here and get penalties like that.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Last win for Kentucky against Georgia was in 2009. They've lost 13 straight. And that pass batted out of the air by Deion Walker. Kentucky players think it's a free ball. Here comes another flag as a Georgia player got knocked to the ground. Deion Walker dumped Cedric Van Pran. Well, he said the penalties are a killer, and they have been, and this might be another one. I know they're not particularly deep along the offensive line, but at some point.
Rolling on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, and an automatic first down.
It was a great play by Walker initially. Knows he's not going to get there. 6'6", 350, going up and knocking the ball down. Then for whatever reason, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, that's just completely unnecessary. Why is Kentucky advancing the ball? It was clearly an incompletion. And then Walker does something dumb like that to give Georgia's offense new life. Just killing themselves right now.
Their best defensive lineman not on the field right now. The ball out to the 35. 4 penalties for 45 yards against Kentucky. Kendall Milton is the running back. He's been banged up here in the early season. He scoots ahead for 7. Darnell Washington, great number 2 tight end alongside Bowers, drafted in the 3rd round. Dominic Lovett, and they had very important receiver Adonai Mitchell transferred to Texas. Dominic Blaylock to Georgia Tech. Kearis Jackson made the Tennessee Titans undrafted. That's a lot of talent to replace. Usually you focus on the defensive players they lose to the draft, but
it's been a ton of turnover, obviously, and they really missed Darnell Washington, I think. Obviously 3rd round pick, but his physical build and just how imposing he was as a run blocker, that's the guy they might miss as much as anybody.
He was a mammoth blocker and a good pass receiver. Beck fires downfield, and Arian Smith couldn't come up with it. And you mentioned it. Where has Arian Smith been? So highly touted when he came here. Now a junior, and they're still waiting for greatness.
And it's in there. I mean, you've seen it in moments, but situations like that, I mean, it's obviously a well-thrown ball by Carson Beck. He's got to reel that in. I mean, he's got incredible speed, stuff that you just can't teach, but the inconsistencies have kind of plagued him, and that's why he's never really become the superstar at this point that we thought he might become.
Milton looked like he might get dragged down to the line. Instead, he got ahead for 5.
I think maybe 4 down territory here if you're Kirby Smart.
Going with quick tempo. 3rd down and 5. Movement along the line. Looks like it's going against Kentucky, and the ball is caught by Rosemy Jackson. Looked like Deion Walker was offside. And if the play stands, it's 30 yards and a Georgia first down.
Rolling on the field, it's a completed catch. Offside, defense number 0 in the neutral zone at the time of the snap. That penalty is declined. Resulting play is first down.
Including block. He's not just a pass receiving tight end. He is a spirited and effective blocker. Ladd McConkey the catch. Battling the back problems. He got 11 on that catch for a first down.
And just soft coverage on the outside by Maxwell Hairston, and they're going to take those hitches all day long. I understand why they'd be soft too. This part of the field, they had just thrown one on the second touchdown.
Played only 24 snaps, but 3 of those 4 catches last week at Auburn were on 3rd down and good for 1st down conversions. Very important player on 3rd down. Wide open Oscar Delp for the Georgia touchdown.
And you're going to see, obviously, a full sell by Kentucky against the run. A similar play that they hit Brock Bowers on earlier. Just completely selling out against the run. They slip the tight end right up the middle, and Delp reels it in for a touchdown. What a backbreaker for Kentucky after they had him off the field. How much progress they've shown.
They marched down the field in the final 2 minutes without a timeout to score the winning touchdown. Ray Davis, another beautifully designed and executed play, good for 11.
Side to side, he's taken a couple shots. He's had guys open.
Yeah, they're moving the ball. I mean, they've only run 14 plays, but they're averaging 5.7 yards per play. And the line is protecting Larry well. He's on target again for a 1st down to midfield to Dane Key. Prior to last season, he was the ACC preseason player of the year. Tore a pec last year, needed surgery, and he hasn't been the same guy here. He got hit as he threw that one, and it still was almost caught by Demi Sumo Karnbe. There is a flag down. Words that we have spoken a few times already tonight. And those microphones work too, right? I mean, they're supposed to be able to talk to each other.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Warren Brinson, part of an all-senior starting defensive line. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, it's a little high, I suppose, but if you hit him, if you hit him low,
I mean, it's not late, it's not to the head.
Yeah, I don't agree with that call.
That's bad.
Fortunate that thing didn't get away.
Davis on his 3rd college team, started his career at Temple, 2 years there too at Vanderbilt. And now a very productive 1st year at Kentucky. Will he get the ball on 3rd and 8? Georgia brings pressure. Davis stays in to help pick it up. That ball is incomplete. Intended for Barrion Brown. Dalen Everett, who gets most of the action at the corner opposite Lassiter, had the coverage. And they move. Again at the right end of the line. It might have been Flax for the 2nd time.
Delay game, defense, for disconcerting signals. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
And this is a good call. You look at number 18, Xavier Sori. Look at, you see him say move. And as soon as he says move, those defensive linemen will shift. That was something that Kentucky had talked about, said that they were going to address it with the officials beforehand, and that time they get the call.
That was Glenn Schumann, the defensive coordinator. He said that's something Georgia does at home. They don't do it on the road. Obviously, the crowd helps. Much more manageable 4th down. Georgia crowding the line. Larry on target, and Tavion Robinson the 1st down. They'll mark him just inside the 22. They're 1 for 4 on 3rd down. This is probably 4 down territory again. Out of the pistol. Davis, lots of running room, and a 1st down inside the 5. It's a Georgia defense that struggled to stop the run last week at Auburn. Off the play fake, Leary, corner to the end zone, and it is caught by Josh Caddis for a Kentucky touchdown.
Let's take a look at tonight's Mark of a Fighter moment, brought to you by Modelo. It's Carson Beck off to a blazing start. First drive of the game, little play action. He sees the safety, Zion Childress, run up, throws it right over the top. Perfect trajectory as Rosemy Jack-Saint finds the end zone. And then on 3rd and 1, full sellout against the run, drifts away from the pressure and hits Brock Bowers for a nice conversion. How about the decision making on the RPO? He has freedom to take the one-on-one if he wants it. He gets it. He throws it exactly where you have to throw it, down on the goal line fade, high where his receiver can time the jump and reel it in. They are rolling offensively, almost entirely due to the incredible start by Carson Beck.
Cash Jones in at running back now for Georgia. This is their best starting field position. 3 possessions, 3 drives, 75, 82, and 95. And here they come again. Brock Bowers. How did he get so wide open? Brad White said yesterday, job one is stopping him. This one goes for 59.
Yeah, just a complete bust in the secondary there by Kentucky. Brock Bowers, as a result, very traditional alignment. It's not like they hit him. He is wide open.
Timeout on the field for a player injury.
Here comes Georgia, already 3 touchdowns in 3 possessions. Back at the Kentucky 21 to the end zone and incomplete for Ra Thomas with Andrew Phillips in coverage.
Coming into the game, I mean, you really thought that the Kentucky's secondary would be good enough to be able to handle this group. They're excellent at corner, both Andrew Phillips and Maxwell Hairston. They have 3 safeties. Now that Geiger's out, they'll roll with 2, but it's a really good secondary, and they're certainly not looking like it tonight against a really potent passing attack. As you see, Brad White does a tremendous job as the defensive coordinator.
Edwards, nifty move and some shaky tackling. That average is going up 300 plus in each of the previous 2 games, and he's going to shatter that tonight, perhaps past his career high of 338 a couple of weeks ago against UAB. Looking for his 4th touchdown pass to the half. Oh my goodness, take Bauer's scholarship away. He couldn't haul it in the corner of the end zone with Alex Afari in coverage.
I mean, it's just a little stutter go. A tight end running a stutter go is ridiculous, but man, I mean, he's human. Ladies and gentlemen, that was up for debate prior to that play.
My
but
goodness, it's shocking when that happens.
See Kirby, I mean, I don't know if anyone can believe what they just witnessed.
Here's Peyton Woodring, the freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana, the top-ranked kicker in high school football last year. Beck is the holder, and that 36-yarder is good. So Woodring is 7 out of 10 now in field goals.
He limped off and was in visible pain. Had athletic training staff working on his right leg. He tried to wave them off, but they insisted he go into the medical tent, Sean.
Take a look as kind of lands a little awkwardly. Oh, and you see at the end, it's almost like a recoil as he went to the ground. That was uncomfortable looking.
Jared Zirkle to kickoff. And Kentucky with Ray Davis on his right hip. 5:15 to go in the half. Kentucky down by 17. Leary to the sideline. And good run after the catch by Dane Key. 13-yard gain. They continue to move the ball for 102. He threw for only 69 and 9 out of 20 last week in the win against Florida, but they had the big rushing day. Up for grabs, and it should have been intercepted by Kamari Lassiter. He had inside position on Dane Key.
Difficult against Kirby Smart and this Georgia defense. They bring in their speed. You bring in Jalen Walker. You bring in Xavier Sori, and they're just going to pin their ears back with those pass rushers and make life very difficult for this Kentucky offensive line and Devin Leary. Play
clock at 2. They just did get it off, and he's under duress and buried. Back at the 25. Jamon Dumas-Johnson. His second sack of the season, a 13-yard loss. Texas was 10 down, rallied to take a late lead against Oklahoma, and they gave up a touchdown in the final seconds. Brock Bowers is on the sideline as this possession begins for Georgia, with Edwards running off left guard and powering his way for a first down and more. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean Bowers came out of the injury tent with a wrap on his right calf. He went immediately to his offensive line and said, "I'm good to go," and I'm told he's fine. He will return.
And he is back in there. It's kind of easy to give somebody treatment on their leg when they're wearing shorts.
The knee pad's really more of like a mid-thigh pad.
Yeah, like a cut-off shorts.
Probably excellent though on like a Peloton bike or something. You know what I mean?
Cedric Van Pran, the center, is the injured player. He's a stalwart. 36 consecutive starts, most on the Georgia team. And really, they're playing with 6 offensive linemen. They're more thin at that position than they've been during this championship run. Jared Wilson is the backup center getting ready to come in, but he's played very little.
That is not someone that you want to be without for an extended period of time. Cedric Van Pran is kind of the heart and soul of this offensive line. Obviously a great signal caller, and with a relatively inexperienced quarterback, having a guy up front that can communicate and handle all the calls is imperative, and him not being there obviously could have an impact on his quarterback significantly.
.310 to go in the half. Kendall Milton is the running back. Each team with all 3 timeouts. Kentucky brings a blitz. Deep drop by Beck, and Rosemy-Jacksaint, another big play. He was wide open for a 21-yard completion. 99 yards receiving. He had the 40-yard touchdown, did Rosemy-Jacksaint, for the first score of the game. Milton, they couldn't chop him down at the line, and he wound up with about a 6-yard gain. It was Andrew Phillips who missed the tackle. Time is no problem for them, with an eye towards scoring again. If anything, they'd probably like to take as much time off as they can and then score. Bowers for 10 yards.
Now I would start thinking about calling timeout if I were Kentucky.
And Georgia not in any hurry. Takes the clock all the way down. A low snap and a touchdown. Kendall Milton. And it's 30-7 Georgia.
And just a great job here by the right side of the offensive line. As you can see on the right side, Xavier Truss just securing the edge and kind of hooking the defender inside, as Khalil Sanders has no chance with that type of leverage, and Milton finds Pater. Given how well Carson Beck's played and how much of a struggle it's been for Kentucky in the secondary, this might be an opportunity for Kirby Smart to start to get aggressive if they're able to stop.
You saw one of the assistant coaches whispering to Kirby Smart. It was probably the idea of a timeout if they stop this play. 35 seconds in the half. They bring extra rushers again, and the throw is incomplete. Diving attempt by Anthony Brown-Stevens. He couldn't get there. Looking for its 23rd straight win. And Carson Beck, 284 yards passing, the most in a half by a Georgia quarterback in the last 20 seasons, and they've had some big numbers put up over the last 2 decades. Let's see if they get aggressive. You would think they would, with as well as they've moved it. There was some movement but no flags. They are going deep into single coverage, and incomplete. Intended for Ra Thomas, and here come the flags. Jordan Robinson had the coverage.
Pass interference, defense, number 28, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I think this is a good call by the official. Throws just a little bit outside, but as you can see, Robinson looks back for a second, but doesn't really try to play the ball. That's a good call by the official.
So the ball moved to the 47 of Kentucky. Still 17 seconds and all 3 timeouts. They check it down to Edwards. And that should be in field goal range.
If I'm Kentucky, they're already in field goal range. I'm blitzing big time here to try and knock them out of field goal range. So let's see if they decide to do that and if Carson Beck can process it quickly.
Woodring's long is 38, but in the high school he made a 60-yard field goal and a couple of more than 50 last year. This will get him closer to the 24-yard line. Yeah, he might not always be a part of the field goal unit. Perhaps you just congratulate him for the nice job he did on that drive coming in for Van Pran. So the career long is 38. He's only tried one so far in college of more than 40. And he missed a 43-yarder here against South Carolina. So this would be a career long of 42. If we can knock this one through, likely to end the half. Liam Moat is the veteran snapper and Beck the holder. That looked like the form of a young man who was the #1 high school kicker in the country last year. What a half for Georgia. A couple of field goals by Woodring, 3 touchdown passes by Beck. They had 6 possessions. They scored on all of them. Georgia 34 and Kentucky 7. We'll send you to the studio to the always happy Matt Barry for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. And welcome back to ESPN Saturday College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. As the gentleman just said, it is the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week and the SEC on ESPN from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. The #1 team in the country, seemingly on its way to its 23rd straight win. Georgia leading Kentucky 34-7. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. And if the Georgia fans were worried about who's going to be the quarterback after Stetson Bennett, I'm not sure they have reason to continue to worry about it. Kentucky's 2 out of 7 on 3rd down. They held Auburn to 2 out of 12 on 3rd down in their victory in the loveliest village on the plains last week. Even with a passive rush, they still almost got to Leary. There is a flag down, a couple in fact, in the offensive backfield as the pass was incomplete for Davis with Dumas Johnson in coverage.
Holding, offense, number 69. A penalty decline. Result of play is 4th down.
Guy that's been around for a while there in the middle certainly helps your young quarterback.
Dylan Fairchild, Tate Ratledge, the guards. They didn't have a great day at Auburn. On target, 1st down. Ra Thomas the catch. An 11-yard gain. And 80% in a first half against Auburn. Did the big game as well. 2010. They fake the run on 3rd down and 1. Receivers open everywhere. Flag down in the secondary. Marcus Rosemy Jackson the catch for a 1st down if it stands. Interesting play call as well from Mike Bobo.
Pass interference. Offense, number 1. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, that might be why he was so wide open. Takes down a 17-yard gain. Beck 24 out of 29 for 327, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Just a 3-man rush for Kentucky into traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Maxwell Hairston. And with some running room along the near sideline. And chopped down by Beck inside the 30. Leary said Liam Cohen said the fact that Leary was the quarterback was another reason why he wanted to come back to Kentucky. Wide open Davis. First down inside the 10. Touchdown Kentucky. Another great call by Liam Cohen and well executed by the Cats. 26 yards. They're going for 2. They put the ball on the left hash mark. Michael Williams came on late for Georgia, but they're lined up. Davis, the running back, on the right hip of Leary. They direct snap it to Davis. Trying to surge toward the end zone. He got stacked up well short. Proud of each other. Carson Beck hands it off. Edwards powers for the first down. I know, Molly, Ray Davis also expressed to you gratitude, just to still be alive at this point in his life. He saw a lot of rough things when he was a kid. Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett were the best receiver on another SEC team last year, and they still have this guy. The tight end hasn't won the Heisman Trophy since 1949 when Leon Hart of Notre Dame did it. If this guy isn't at least in the top 10, it's a disgrace. Those are the total yards in the last 3 games. 111 and counting tonight. 10th career 100-yard receiving game. He's a junior from beautiful Napa, California. Dylan Bell made something out of nothing. Jordan Lovett finally knocked him out of bounds. Hockey is to love hockey, and for those watching this who really haven't paid much attention to hockey, we encourage you to give it a try. The game has never been better. Players are enormously talented. The speed of the game. Here's a direct snap to Brock Bowers on 3rd down and 5, and he got driven back after a short gain. There's his 17th career rush. Kyle Pitts of Florida finished 10th in the Heisman balloting in 2020. The only tight end in the top 10 in the voting since 1977. Ken McAfee. It's supposed to go to the best player in college football. A lot of great players, but he merits significant consideration. You're watching ESPN Saturday College Football Primetime, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. They started with Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, and Vanderbilt. But after they beat Florida last week 33-14, really dominated. That earned a lot of believers. They moved into the top 25 for the first time this year. Might be a short stay. This sellout crowd still fully engaged. 69 straight sellouts, and they love it. Jamon Dumas Johnson with his 2nd sack.
And you're going to see the offensive line just not sort this thing out. Everybody's kind of sliding to the left, and as a result, Dumas Johnson could just attack the left guard, Dylan Ray. His eyes are to the right. He's got to kind of hang there just a little bit, knowing that that linebacker could very easily come from depth. Instead, he abandons his post. And next thing you know, Leary's dropped for a loss.
Well, Georgia, a long string of dominance. The school record 22 wins and counting. They've been national champions now for 635 days. They've been #1 in the AP poll for almost a full year now. They weren't #1 at the beginning of last season, even though they were the defending champs. They moved to #1 and stayed there. Doug 11 is awake a few minutes ago. Boom was taking a nap. It's like they have a swearing-in ceremony that took place at the spring game. They call it getting collared.
Really?
When you're officially the new and the latest in the long line of great Uggas, one of the great mascots in all of American sports. On 3rd down and 9, Beck, quick throw, caught. Beautiful throw, threw it in the perfect place for Ra Thomas. 21 yards up to 368 for Carson Beck on 27 out of 34.
Then just perfect throw and a great job too by Ra Thomas. Look at him flip his hips, so natural. The ball's thrown in a perfect place to kind of throw Ra Thomas away from Hairston, who had decent coverage. But a great throw is going to beat great coverage every single time.
5th catch for Thomas for 63 and his first Georgia touchdown. Powers is wide open. Touchdown. 21 yards. His first touchdown reception of the night. And 24th of his career. He moves out of a tie for 2nd all-time in Georgia with A.J. Green. Only Terrence Edwards with more. He had 30 touchdown receptions from 99 through 2002. Bowers from an athletic family. His parents were athletes at Utah State. His sister, a collegiate athlete. Ray Davis weaves his way ahead for about 7. And some of the backups getting in now for the Georgia defense was C.J. Madden, redshirt freshman. He made his 3rd tackle of the season, wearing number 16, a backup linebacker. And Kirby Smart said, hey, when we get 3 touchdowns ahead, the backups go in. They've earned the right to play. That's how they get experience. He has said that a lot of the statistical damage done in the first 5 games was against the backups. So we played very well when the first group's been in there, and that was the case again tonight. The end of the 3rd quarter, Georgia leading Kentucky 44-13. Celebration has begun here in Athens, the SEC on ESPN. Kirby Smart said they hadn't talked about it, but they have now. Carson Beck is done for the night, or at least for the time being. And here's Brock Vandegrift, redshirt sophomore from Bogart, Georgia, in relief of Beck. He's playing in his 4th game of the year. UT Martin, Ball State, UAB, and now Kentucky. Dylan Bell with a short gain. Muse scampers out to the 28-yard line. I did the game in 1996 at Auburn when Uga
tried to lunge.
Yeah, lunged at one of the Auburn players.
Oh, I've seen that picture a million times. You did that game?
I did that game for CBS. He also does a watch along on I believe on YouTube. So people are watching the game with Coach Donnan and getting his insights. Jalen Walker in on the sack. Raylan Wilson also there, true freshman, getting some playing time. It's the 3rd Bulldog sack.
This is so difficult as you see the left guard trying to pull out, take advantage of the edge presence of Walker, and he just doesn't have a chance. Walker beats him quickly with speed around the edge.
Walker's a sophomore from Salisbury, North Carolina. His dad was his high school coach, Curtis, the former defensive coordinator in college at Coastal Carolina. Flags down. Muse electrifying those who are still between the hedges and in the stands. But it might be coming back. There's a flag way back at the 17-yard line. $57-yard punt, 64-yard return that might get wiped out.
During the return, illegal block in the bag. Return team, number 27. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
And back here in Athens, Brock Vandegrift on for his second series. Hands it off to Cash Jones, the former walk-on. He got chopped down shy of the 30 by Zion Childress. Good for 19. Yeah, Scott Johnson, our director, before he had his boo-boo on his knee. But now here's Vandegrift taking off and running out near midfield. Brock out of Prince Avenue Christian School in Georgia, where he played for his dad, Greg. Like so many of these Georgia players, very highly recruited. He was the National High School Quarterback of the Year in 2020 by the National Quarterback Club. The last loss in any game was in the SEC Championship game in December of 2021 to Alabama. So they started the winning streak. That's Andrew Paul, the redshirt freshman from Dallas. They started the winning streak in the 2021 college football playoff semifinal against Michigan in the Orange Bowl. And that 22-game winning streak is the school record. It'll be 23. Vandegrift fires, showing off his arm, on target to the 20-yard line to Pierce Sperlin, the third. Another tight end.
And they're a real big question mark right now. I'm just not really sure how to feel about them at the moment.
Vandegrift wants Lucky to block for him. He got chopped down right at the first down marker by Ty Bryant, a true freshman out of Lexington. His dad played at Kentucky. Cisco Bryant, a good wide receiver for Jerry Claiborne back in the 80s. And got a couple of series back in 2021 against Charleston Southern. All kinds of time, and he nearly threw an interception. David Rayner frustrated he couldn't take that in. He's another transfer for Kentucky from Northern Illinois. 4th and goal. They're going for it from the 8. Vandegrift's 4 out of 6 for 39 since coming in for Beck. Andrew Paul to the pylon. Touchdown. J.Q. Hardaway couldn't stop him. And Georgia's put up 50 tonight against a usually very stout Kentucky defense.
Just a great job. You see Vandegrift didn't like anything downfield, gets it to his outlet. And Paul obviously does the dirty work to find pay dirt. As you take a look at the progressive pylon cam, which got mowed over right there on the side as Kirby Smart looks on, very happy with his backup offense and putting some more points on the board.
Two powerhouse offensive teams. Game day will be there in beautiful Seattle along the shores of Lake Washington. That will be a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, the Pac-12's going out with a bang, isn't it?
Man, are they ever.
Having a terrific year. And a big hit on the kickoff return. It was Anthony Brown-Stevens who brought it out, and he got rocked by Roderick Robinson.
And those are concepts that he's familiar with, that he ran at NC State. But some of the newer things he's kind of struggled to grasp. And I think he's going to have to play really, really well down the stretch if they're going to accomplish the things they want to accomplish.
So Georgia 3-0 in conference, and Kentucky joins Florida, Missouri, Tennessee as the one-loss teams in the East. And the officials are running off the field. I think they're just going to let the clock expire here, and it's ball game over. So the records continue. 23 straight wins. The school record, 23 straight regular season wins. Also the school record, 22 regular season SEC wins, is one shy of their school record. And they've now won 23 straight at home one shy of the record set by the great Herschel Walker teams back in the early 80s. Came on the air saying there's the perception that this team is not as good as the previous two, but they're trying to smash that belief, and that guy with Molly's a big reason why they might be. Molly?
Carson, you threw for 389 yards and 4 touchdowns. You just looked surprised when I told you that. How are you able to find so much success in the passing game tonight?
I mean, early on, it felt like nothing could go wrong. You know, we were completing the ball everywhere. Guys were making plays. Good yards after the catch. I felt like I was holding the ball back there forever. We had great protection. I didn't know how many yards I had, so you just told me, but that's cool.
You talked about that strong start. You completed your first 12 passes of this game. What does it feel like to get into a rhythm like that?
I mean, one of our things that we've been trying to get after is to like have a strong start, and obviously we haven't had one, and it's been a huge emphasis for us. So, you know, just try to approach the game a little bit differently coming into it, and try to have that energy coming out in the first quarter, in the first half. So to be able to have that type of success early was really good for the team.
You told us your confidence grows every single game. Where's your confidence at right now?
I feel like it's in a good place, and it's just going to continue to improve each game. Obviously, we'll go back and watch the film. Obviously, nothing's perfect. I had to pick too, so just go back, learn, and then continue to improve each game.
Kirby Smart told us this team still doesn't know their identity yet. You guys are still figuring it out. Well, what did you learn about this team tonight in this dominant win?
That we're going to compete no matter what. It's always about us. We're going to go out there. We're going to be physical. We're going to have composure when things aren't going our way. And at the end of the day, we're just going to try to get a win.
All right, congrats on the win tonight.
Thank you so much.
Sean.
He started the night as the only FBS quarterback who had 60% completion percentage or better, 20 completions, and 250 passing yards in every game this season. And he did that again tonight. Maybe we should get his name up on some of those Heisman graphics.
It's on his way.
Big night all the way around for Molly McGrath, Greg McElroy, and our great crew. Sean McDonough saying so long from Athens. Georgia wins 51-13.